Hello everybody. In this screencast we're going to talk about something called notification center. Okay. The notification center enables components to interact with one another, send messages to one another without direct connections between them. Okay. And it's very similar to the post office concept. So let's say we have a component, say A, right? You have a component that's called A that's going to generate content. And then you have other components. Let's say you have component B and component C that are actually going to receive this content. And then there is this construct or this component which is called the notification center. Notification center. Okay? And basically what's going to happen is that when the notification center is going to mediate this communication between them. So basically what's going to happen is that component B is going to register, or it's going to tell the notification center that I'd like to observe a specific notification. Okay? So it would like to observe a specific notification. Let's say, and then what happens is that the component, say component A posts a notification. It posts a notification. When it posts a notification, a specific notification, the notification receives that request, and then it looks at who is observing it, and it finds out that B and C are observing this notification. So what it does, it notifies them. So basically it sends a notification, notify, and it also notifies B. So basically what is the process is very straightforward. You start by the components start by indicating that they want to observe. Okay, so that's one. And then there is a post that happens, okay, from another component, and then they are notified with this kind of event or this kind of notification. So the whole process is mediated by the notification center. When is this useful? This is useful when you want, for example, to share a specific event or among a lot of components, or if there are frequent events that are going to happen and you would like to share them among different components. The interesting part of this kind of communication is that it is not coupled. It is they call it soft coupling, or there is no hard coupling between these components. All what couples them is the notification name, and if somebody is observing and somebody else is posting. They don't need to know the name of the class in A, what methods to call in A, and so on. It just needs to know the name of the notification, and it subscribes or it observes this kind of notification, and the notification center mediates the communication between the poster, the person who posts, or the advertiser, and the receiver of the notification, which is going to be the subscriber or the observer of the notification. So basically, it provides the ability for, say, component A to communicate with component B and C. So basically it allows communication from one component to multiple components at the same time, and that's also an advantage. Hello, so let's have a look how we can implement this in iOS. So our running example is these two view controllers, where you start with the first view controller, you click on go to next, goes to the second view controller, and then you click close, the view controller closes. So basically, how are we going to implement notifications here? So basically, let's say we go from the first view controller, go to the second view controller, and we'll add a button here. Whenever we click this button, we want to notify the first view controller of something that has happened in the second view controller. How do we do that? So basically, as we mentioned before, is that we need to add the button first. Let's add the button so that at least just to get things started. We'll add the button. Okay, here it is, and we'll say notify. All right, so that's going to notify the whoever has subscribed for that a specific notification. Let's add some constraints. Okay, and I will also connect it to the view controller. So create an action. So when you go here, I'll say notify others. Notify was clicked, right? Here we are. Okay, cool. So now how do we do perform this notification? So it's also very straightforward. So let's go to the class where we added this function that's going to execute the action. Okay. So now to trigger a notification, all we have to do is notify, right? We have to notify through the notification center that a specific notification has happened, right? Or to post. You need to post on this notification. So how do we do that? It's very straightforward. So there is something called the notification center. Here it is. Notification center. Okay. Dot post. You see dot default. Okay. Then dot post, and then you post a notification. So basically, I just want to post a notification. You have to specify a notification name and an object that you would like to send, if you want to send something with the notification. So let's do this. And basically, I will, I need to specify a name for the notification. So basically, there are a lot of ways of doing that, but the easiest way is just to add it as a string. So basically, I will say the notification name, and then I will, okay, I need the notification dot name, and then I will just specify its name. I will call it something happened, okay? And then the object that I want to send is nil. I'm not going to send any object. So basically, this is how you trigger a notification. This is how you post a notification. Anybody who's listening to this notification name is going to receive that notification. So now how do we do that? How do we receive? So that's in the second view controller. Now if you go to the first view controller, we'd like, when the first view controller starts, to subscribe to that notification, to observe this notification. So that to observe a notification, we'll also use the notification center. But then there is a small catch, is that how do you observe something in a class? So when you observe it, this means that there is some kind of a method that needs to be called when this event happens, right? So we look at that. So basically, we let this method is the method is going to be called. It has to have a specific format. This method that is going to receive the notification, right? So basically, we need this. We need to add obj-c to show that this method to be accessible in Objective-C. But this is just a backward compatibility thing. Okay. So we create a function. That function is on receive. I'll call it just receive, or on data received, or on receive notification. Can be any name you want, right? And it will receive a notification. Okay, that's going to receive a notification. Make sense? So basically, it is just going to receive a notification. So now, how do you trigger to tell the notification center that if a specific notification happens, call this method? Also, notification center will do the same thing. Notification center dot default dot add observer. Okay, so basically, the one I'm going to pick is this one. Basically, I'll add an observer. I'll add the observer. So the observer is myself, right? Self, and then the selector is a mechanism of providing the method name to call when something happens, and then the name of the notification. What notification are you interested in? And then there is an object that you also can pass. So basically, go here, add the observer. So the observer is self, right? And then the selector should exist in self, should exist in the class that implements self, or this class, yeah, right? So how to add a selector? You just say hash, and then you type selector, and then you do a control space. It will give you on the methods that are out there. Okay, so basically I'm here, control space, and then I'll pick the on receive, right? And close the selector, right? And then the name of the notification. So to avoid making any mistakes, I'll go back here. This is the name of the notification, right? Go back here. This is the name of the notification, and the object I'm going to be passing is nil. Okay, cool. So basically, what did we do here is that we told, or we registered, or added an observer in the notification center that is observing this notification, and if that notification happens, it calls this selector in self in this instance. Okay, so let's say print, and I will say that this notification has happened, right? So basically I will do this, has happened. Okay, so basically what's the cycle is very simple, is that when the user clicks the button, we post a notification telling that something has happened. And basically in the first view controller, when it started, it actually registered itself to listen to this notification, and then it is going to receive the notification when that notification happens. So let's try. We're here. Now we are in the first view controller. We click this, and then when I click on notify, you see what is happening. When I clicked on notify, the log is showing. When I click to notify, I will click on notify again. The list is showing the print method. The print method is actually not happening in the second view controller. It's happening in the first view controller. See? Why? Because the notification happens. Basically, when you click here, you are posting a notification that gets received by the first view controller, and so on. So now what if I really want to pass some meaningful data? So basically, to pass the meaningful data is, let's say you want to pass a name of somebody, okay, or a class or whatever. So basically, when you click, you're not passing any object. What if I pass hello, or Bob Smith, for example? Okay, so I'm going to pass a string, right? I'm going to pass a string. So basically now when I go back here, I get this happened, and then I can print whatever is coming in. I could say print, I receive a notification, see, in this function. I can say notification dot object. Here it is. And then run it again. Okay. Okay, so you go here. I click on notify. You see I'm receiving Bob Smith. You can pass a string, you can pass an object implementation, or whatever you want to pass. And this shows you how you can set up this publish subscribe model soft binding approach in iOS. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.